Hi, my name is Viviana, and basically the premise of this presentation will focus on, excuse me, if the advancement of technology has shaped children's ideologies as a kind of like a collectivistic society, which is being done through the medium of television. Basically, the internet has, it's been the greatest invention, some say, of the 21st century besides the internet. Um, and the television was created about 75 years ago, which was gradually introduced in the United States and Western Europe after World War II. Although the medium was developed before the war, by the end of the 50s, most countries in the Western Hemisphere had access to one or more television channels, and then throughout the time and in the 70s, the majority of the households were equipped with at least one television set. But however, today, in today's society, the average American home has 2.7 televisions, whereas there's 2.5 people in each home, which means that in each household, there's either at least one television per person, or there are more television than people. Because the television was invented long ago, its advancements have since then come a really long way, and we see that in society. Throughout each decade, we just see how certain things have changed within TV itself, such as what is being shown in commercials and TV shows and in movies. In the 50s, things were very modest and laid back, and in the 60s and 70s, we see a little bit more, and especially the 80s, we see more controversial things, and of course, that's due to everything that was going on in the 70s and the 80s, and people felt the need, they felt like they wanted their voice to be heard, and things weren't as taboo anymore, so we see more openness in that sense. Television at that point, so long ago, like in the 30s and 40s, it was replaced by the radio because the radio was the number one medium that was used by children. And basically, that's going to be from now on, from here on out. The premise of this presentation is going to be about children and television. So, like I said, TV replaced the radio, which was the most used medium by children, and it primarily attracting children in younger ages up to the teenage years. And the amount of television viewing is sensitive to the output of children's programs as well as the output of entertainment. Time spent with television varies between different countries, depending on different cultural patterns and backgrounds, as well as differences in production. By the 2000s, the average child viewer in the United States watched about 3 to 4 hours of television each day, whereas the European viewer watched about 3 hours with some national variations. Children's fascination with television has concerned researchers, parents, educators, and other groups dealing with children's well-being ever since the medium was initially introduced. Much of the public debate has been focused on the effects of media violence, which has resulted in much scrutiny by psychologists and sociologists, and it has given rise to a massive body of research that we have today. However, the debate and research has also dealt with whether television viewing itself and alone is passive viewing, and if it's a passive activity, if we just kind of watch it and not really internalize what's going on, if we just kind of watch it and don't give definition to what we are watching and necessarily understanding. So that's one debate, and then the other one is kind of related to television becoming kind of like a drug and being kind of addictive, which has a tranquilizing and seducing effect on the viewer. So TV has also been blamed for causing negative effects on reading skills, and some claim too that much television use can make children dumb, whereas other worries have concerned children's physical conditions, such as too little exercise or even radiation from the screen that could affect the brain or the eyes. And television viewing has also been linked to obesity in children. So that's one debate. At the end of the 1960s and the beginning of the 70s, going back to that time area and linking that to children, there was a belief that television could be used for promoting and learning social behavior. The medium was deliberately used for preschool learning, often called pro-social. In the United States, the program which we know as Sesame Street was developed, and it became a success in other countries where the program was adjusted to basically the child audience. Um, in some, I don't necessarily think that television has um, a negative effect on our society. I definitely do think that it has perpetuated certain ideologies in us as human beings, but I think that if we are sensitive to what we allow our children to watch, then this idea of television viewing and children, that link I think would no longer be negative. For example, my aunt and my uncle, they're very, very liberal. They live in San Francisco. They're super cool. They don't allow their daughters to watch anything besides Sesame Street. And they are just like, I talk to them sometimes on the phone and we Skype, and they're just really, really smart. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying television is bad, but I think like they're not allowed to watch Disney. They're allowed to watch one TV show on Nickelodeon, which is called like Yo Gabba Gabba, or maybe that's Disney, I'm not sure. But they really take the time and effort into researching and finding out the TV shows that their daughters watch. And I see that within the development of their children. And of course, schooling and amazing parenting. So I think ultimately it boils down to what we're allowing our kids to watch, how long we're allowing them to watch TV, and linking that time with technology such as TV and iPads and stuff like that to personally giving time to teach our children certain things and ideologies. Thank you.